All right, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this month's Bloom Business Series webinar. My name is Jonathan Damaris. I'm the director of Downtown Inc. And today we're talking about trail-friendly businesses. Today's event is made possible with our support of our presenting sponsor, PNC. Thank you, PNC, for your continued support of our 2023 Bloom Business Series. All right, once again, thanks to PNC. Today's topic is the Trail-Friendly Business Designation operated through the York County Economic Alliance. This is York County Trail Towns program. This is a free designation that businesses throughout downtown and the county can apply for. Businesses that apply for the designation are those that want to support the outdoor economy by offering premier customer service to outdoor recreational users and working collaboratively with the other businesses in this sphere. As an avid walker and hiker myself, I have experienced the small and different ways that businesses can help support this economy and how these customers flock to patronize these businesses due to the accommodations that they offer. Today, you'll hear from businesses that are actively working to support the outdoor economy, their experiences and best practices that you can take away to determine if this designation is right for you. At this time, I'd like to introduce David Gonzalez. David is Director of Economic Initiatives for the YCEA and leads the York County Trail Towns program. He'll provide some background on the program and will moderate your panel discussion. Good morning, David.
Hey, morning, John. Thank you, everyone. Jumping right into it, the York County Trail Towns program, in short, helps communities and businesses leverage outdoor economy for their businesses. So when you think of it, the outdoor economy is everything recreation, biking, kayaking, running, walking, you name it, that is the outdoor economy. This effort of the York County Trail Towns program came from an action item as a part of the York County Economic Action Plan, which is the countywide plan to lay out goals for how we can better improve the opportunity in our economy for all residents. So leveraging our recreational amenities for economic benefits is something we see a path forward for. Through development of the program, we saw a resurgence of light leveraging of our recreational assets, that being parks, trails, waterways, and a lack of stable coordination among communities or businesses. We started this program with 5 initial pilot towns along the York County Heritage Rail Trail, that being the City of York, Seven Valleys, Glen Rock, Railroad, and New Freedom. The trail intersects each of those towns, and as many of us know, the Heritage Rail Trail is a well-used trail, which saw a spike rather than a giant leap in usage as a result of the pandemic. Our panel will speak to the use of the trail and what they've seen and activity. But with data we had pre-pandemic, we saw an annual use of the Heritage Rail Trail of nearly 250,000 users. That number has since been anticipated to grow to a near 200% increase. The pilot communities engaged in the planning process with business owners, community members, recreational users, and municipal officials to create an action plan for each town to adopt, from improving local policies and ordinances, attracting trail supporting businesses, improving signage, and much more. Then in 2022, we worked to grow the Trail Towns program to encompass 2 additional communities, that being Hanover and Wrightsville, as hub communities that are surrounded by recreational options like state or county parks, waterways, and various trail networks. To date, we've engaged in everything from coordinating events like coordinating to bring the Downtown York Festivice event to the trail towns, coordinating studies for development plans in the community, such as improving the site around the Glen Rock Ruins Hall, and developing a plan for a downtown Hanover Trail connection for the Hanover Trolley Trail from Mountfield to the amenities in the borough. Additionally, providing funding for physical improvements like Palace Park, sidewalks, crosswalks, entrances into the communities from the trail. And then last, creating a trail-friendly business program, which is the basis of today's conversation. The Trail-Friendly Business Program was established as a part of our initial planning efforts to help support the businesses in each community leverage the trails and better position themselves to become trail users. To date, we have 29 businesses who are a part of the program. The program is a free designation that any business can apply for. A short application essentially asks if your business offers products or services to support trail users to improve the trail experience. Do you offer amenities like water bottles filled at no charge in areas so someone can charge their phones, Wi-Fi, restrooms? If someone is hopping off their bike onto the trail, usually they don't have anywhere to carry an item, so can they manage to ship packages of goods they buy at your store from your store to their home actually? And is there opportunity to display a trail map, or is there offered bike amenities? Not every business needs to hit all that criteria, but has to meet a minimum of 3. Our team will share the application and other details following, or can also drop it in the chat too, of the information and the application to apply to be a trail-friendly business. Essentially, we don't just designate and move on. We support these businesses by providing window clings. These are trail-friendly business window clings that go into the windows of the storefronts or the doors to signify to users that you are a trail-friendly business. It's largely a widely accepted concept. Additionally, sharing our Trail Towns logos, which I have one right here. And also you've seen it on the promotions. So again, they can use that for their own promotional purposes as well, social media, printouts, anything like that. Placing their info on the Trail Towns website. So right now on our website, we have listed out the trail-friendly businesses in all of those communities. Additionally, promotion of the businesses on our social platforms, like Instagram, Facebook. And then additionally, networking and technical assistance and coordination and resources. So if they need connections to resources, businesses, other businesses, government entities, anything like that, we help to facilitate those connections. So now I'd like to welcome our panelists who represent trail-friendly businesses in 3 of our York County trail towns. Our first guest is Jessica Brubaker. She is co-founder and executive director of Keystone Kidspace. Jessica has spent her career in the nonprofit sector, similarly, primarily as a nonprofit consultant, specializing in strategic and business planning, and has been an adjunct professor at York College, the York College of Pennsylvania, teaching courses in nonprofit management, social entrepreneurship, and philanthropy. She has extensive nonprofit governance experience and most recently joined the board of Pennsylvania Partnerships for Children, a statewide organization committed to improving the health, education, and well-being of children and youth in the Commonwealth. She recently completed her 3rd term appointed by Governor Wolf to the Pennsylvania Commission for Women. Thank you, Jessica. Welcome. Next is Ned H. Duke Jr., owner of Freedom Fitness and Training. Ned moved to Pennsylvania 6 years ago from New Jersey, so we claimed that victory. He wanted to do something in memory of his father, who had passed away from cancer that he had contracted while fighting in the Desert Storm. Being a personal trainer, he found a perfect way for Ned to give back to his community by helping people become a better version of themselves through fitness. Welcome, Ned. And our final panelist is Amanda Poulin, one of the owners and keepers of the Jackson House Bed and Breakfast in Railroad, Pennsylvania. Amanda has spent 25 years in the government and corporate sectors, both domestic and internationally, as a financial analyst and facilities planner. She currently works as a senior planner for a multinational corporation. She is also a freelance editor, proofreader, and is the secretary and treasurer of Railroad Borough, along with 2 other business owners. She's also established a Trail Towns business networking group to encourage businesses located along the Heritage Trail to collaborate and marketing and community events to drive tourism and businesses to the local area. So thanks to all of our panelists for joining us today. If you have questions for any of today's panelists during the presentation, please submit them in our Q&A or chat feature along the taskbar, and we'll address them at the end of the program. So now I'll go ahead and get started with our first question. So to all the panelists, can you share with us, how did the community where you're located and the proximity to the trail play into your decision to open your business where you did? We can start out with Amanda if you'd like.
Sure. When we were looking at the Jackson House Bed and Breakfast, the trail was one of the things that caught our attention. It's a built-in customer base for our business and the surrounding businesses. So it played a major role in one of our criteria selection.
Thanks. Ned, would you like to jump on that one?
Sure. When East and I, my business partner, were looking for places, we were looking in other towns, and when we came across this one, we're like so close to the trail, and being a fitness gym, we can utilize the trail for many things, whether it be making our clients run while I stand there and watch them, or using it for a couch to 5K or something like that. But New Freedom, I mean, in short, there's no other place like New Freedom.
Jessica?
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. So I'm here representing Keystone Kidspace. For those of you who don't know, we're a relatively new nonprofit organization. We've only been open about a year and a half, but we're located in the historic York Armory building in downtown York, right across the Cadorus Creek from the York Revolution baseball stadium. And for us, the proximity of the rail trail, and when I say proximity, it's like literally right outside of our front door, was really a very important factor in our selecting this site to be our future home, in part because of what Amanda was mentioning about a built-in customer base, but also really for us, it was multimodal access to our facility. So we can serve families who can visit us on foot, by car, and now also cycling or running or walking from throughout the city of York, and obviously beyond to the greater county and even further out than that. So for us, it allows us to access and be accessible to so many more families, in addition to creating, frankly, a nice open, green, pleasant environment in close proximity to the downtown.
Awesome. Thank you all. Amanda, this question is for you. Your business was in operation before the coordination of the York County Trail Towns program. Would you be willing to speak to your engagement of the trail and its users prior to that, and any measurable changes you've seen since then?
Sure. Prior to the Trail Towns program, people were using the trail. Businesses were on the trail, but it wasn't prominent. We would engage with people when we were outside working in the yard. We would engage with people. They had lots of questions. Where am I? Where is there to eat? What is there to do? The Trail Towns program, the money they've infused into the trail through York County Economic Alliance, you see more businesses active. You see more promotional events and material, more amenities for the trail users. And like you said earlier, with COVID, the trail saw over a 200% spike in use. So you really see more people using it, more businesses coming to the area because of the trail. New Freedom has 2 breweries that just opened or are opening. Railroad has a new brewery. All of those things were because of the trail. It's really key for their businesses. So you're seeing more amenities for the trail users. You're seeing more trail users. Bicycle racks have gone in. Watering stations for dogs and people have gone in. The signage initiative is coming this year. So everything's geared towards really increasing the user base of the trail, and it's been amazing.
Awesome. Additionally, this is for all of you, so feel free, whoever wants to jump in on this one. Can you share some of the things your businesses have done to accommodate welcome trail users? Everything from either grab and go, restrooms, bike racks, repair, water stations, accommodating dogs. Can any of you speak to that?
For us, again, being a fitness in the fitness industry, we can accommodate with the water refills. We have Wi-Fi here as well and restrooms. And like I had mentioned before, we tend to utilize the outdoors. We tend to utilize the trails, during the good weather. I do have a few members that come in the morning that'll go running and then come inside and then work out. I have a few that come in the afternoon. One gentleman, he'll go ride 3 miles, come back, do a workout and then go ride again, come back and then do another workout and go home. And he does this religiously about like 4 or 5 days. So for us, especially when the weather is nice out and the trail being used more, we see an influx in the traffic in the gym.
Jessica or Amanda, go ahead.
Yeah, I can share a little bit about what we've done so far and then what we have coming shortly. So, so far we have, basic things like bottle filling stations. We have some limited concessions. We have an air pump for bike tires that's permanently installed outside of our building. But coming here in just the next few months, when the rail trail is finally completed here right through the downtown, we also will be adding benches and bike racks and other kinds of amenities to make it easier for rail trail travelers to actually stop and rest here in this location. We're just waiting for this final piece of work here to be complete. So we sort of think of it as a down payment for now and more to come in the next 6 to 12 months.
We as a business, we've worked on landscaping, a watering station for people and dogs, increased signage. Some of the other businesses in the railroad area, we have Captain Bob's, we have the general store. They have done restrooms, portalettes. We've done that in the park in Railroad as well. Captain Bob's has worked on landscaping, bicycle racks, just a few things. We're really, I would say right now, almost a pass-through town for most of your travelers. They stop here real quick, say, where are we? On their way to either New Freedom or Glen Rock. Coming, we're working on a number of things. We would like to have more events in Railroad Park. So I think things are happening in Railroad. It's a little bit slower than most other places, but there'll be more to do.
Sort of next question here, and I think most of you could speak to this, is where are the visitors coming from, and how are they engaging with the trail and in the area businesses?
For us, being the bed and breakfast, we've had people as far away as Germany come to bike the trail. We have people from Colorado, California, Washington State. A lot of our users come out of DC, the Virginia area, New Jersey. It's a huge draw to our customer base. Now they're coming not only for the trail, they're coming for the amenities along the trail, the train, the breweries. So it has a wide customer base.
For us, we've had members come from Glen Rock and Parkton that utilize the trail that come up. So yeah, it brings in, I feel like it brings in a lot more for us. It opens up the door for members that probably wouldn't have come to our gym if it wasn't for the trail.
I can share that, we see visitors from all over, but the ones who tend to stop in here tend to be local, sort of day trip rail trail travelers, as opposed to folks traveling from Germany or Colorado, which Amanda was referencing. Obviously, we're not a bed and breakfast, so we may not be aware of those particular travelers. But we are on the northern edge of the trail, as opposed to, I think the other speakers are coming from more in the southern section of the county. We really do anticipate that when the trail is completed right here through downtown, that the travelers that the other panelists are seeing, we will start to see push up a little bit more. And we also expect to see more families using the trail once it becomes safer for them to complete the loop through the downtown section.
So at some point, someone can do the circuit where they stay with Amanda over the weekend, they get a workout with Ned down in New Freedom, and then they shoot up to Keystone Kidspace in the city and do some kids activities. So can't wait to see that circuit. Hashtag circuit, make it trending now. And next on how, for all of you actually, can you share examples of how engagement with our organization, the YCEA, or even Downtown Inc. has helped you and your business? And then what also services and programs have you taken advantage of or found to be beneficial for your business?
For us, the thing that helped us the most was the webinars and the programs that you guys offer, because trying to navigate through opening up a business, being a startup business, there's a lot. It's just that you just don't walk in and open the doors one day and then boom, you have members. But you guys were able to provide a lot of information to help us throughout the journey here, and the networking part of it is great. I met so many wonderful people through the program and through the events, and of course all the good food that I get when I go to these events. That's always a plus. But yeah, no, without this program, I think that it would have been much tougher for us to be where we're at right now.
For us, I think we've come along with you guys. We opened 6 months before COVID. York County Economic Alliance was there the whole way. Grants, advertising, support, networking. The Bloom classes, if you haven't taken them, are amazing. They have Business 101 and Business 102. The Bloom grants that go with that. Everything you guys offer is all geared towards helping small businesses. We've taken advantage of just about everything, from the Bloom classes to the Bloom grants, and the networking, advertise. All of it is just the support we get. I have a problem, I call you guys. You send somebody or you're right there to help us. The Trail Towns program has been huge for the community. Can't say enough about how much you guys support small businesses in the area.
I would agree with what Ned and Amanda both said, like 100%, so just ditto. But I also just want to add that you guys make it very easy to work with you, which I think is also really a credit to YCEA, whether you're applying for a grant or technical assistance, or you just need help or get a question answered. You're very accessible. Your grant programs are very easy to navigate, even if you don't have a lot of grant writing experience or anything like that. So credit to YCEA for being a really great partner.
And I think you all really touched on this to a degree too, about utilizing some Bloom grant dollars. Would you like to speak to the use of those Bloom grant dollars in recent rounds and how you've used it to benefit your business?
I can go. So again, for us, the Bloom grant dollars helped. Our awnings were 20 years old. They were starting to rip. We've been doing, our business had been pretty much mothballed for about 5 years. So the Bloom grants really helped us with repairing exterior features, landscaping, providing water for our trail guests. It was just a good way to help us get off the ground with some of the things that would have been overwhelming financially.
I will say we applied for a Bloom grant that helped us fund that permanent bike air pump that I mentioned that's outside of our building, and some signage. And those were really important investments that as a startup, we would have had trouble funding on our own. So it was really essential, but it has also helped in attracting other funders and partners to help us in other ways. You know, if you have one entity that's willing to make an investment and help you take an important step, sometimes it makes it easier to get other partners and other people to step forward. So we even have a York Academy student across the street who's done a fundraiser to help us install a bike repair station outside of our building now. The PennDOT program that's happening out in the street and on the bridge is going to help us with the benches and the bike racks. So we're really working hard to be creative and sort of cobbling together a lot of different partnerships and funding sources, but the Bloom grant was a really important catalyst for all of that.
We have not received or applied for a Bloom grant, but that's something that we will be looking forward to be doing in the future, because there are a few programs that we'd like to get started, and I believe those grants will help us get those up and running.
Thank you for all that. So I think Amanda and Ned, you can speak to this, and then also Jessica, I think you can speak to the downtown community of networking groups between businesses. So businesses and communities in the Heritage Rail Trail recently formed a networking group called the Rail Trail Business Networking Group. Ned and Amanda, could you talk about those benefits of having a cohesive network of businesses who are supporting the trail and one another? Could you speak to that benefit?
Sure. The Rail Trail Towns Networking Group really was formed from a need during the first year of the pandemic when York County Economic Alliance brought the Festivice to the trail towns. Amazing. And Northern Central Railway, which is a huge player here in New Freedom Railroad, Glen Rock, Seven Valleys, was looking. It's our off season. We're really around, outdoor use, tourism. And so Northern Central was going to run trains that weekend for Festivice. They were trying to independently contact all of the businesses along the trail to say, hey, can you offer our guests something to do? And there were very few that responded. And we were talking with Ashley and another person after the festival and said, what can we do? We've got to have a better way to organize people, organize events. We all play a part in this. How do we do it? And we said, let's form a networking group. It took us about a year from the first time Ashley and I started talking about it until Janelle hopped on board and got us really focused and moving. We started small, and I think now we have over 60 different businesses, at least on our invitee list. And we average about 30 businesses every month. We meet once a month, and it's huge. It lets York County Economic Alliance come in and talk to the businesses about the programs they offer. We have Explore York come in who offers different things. We have all the businesses come in and say, hey, I'm doing this event. The most recent one was a 5K chili dog race that happened. So now we can say, hey, I've got something I want to do. And all of the businesses are there. They're hearing the information, and we're supporting each other. So I think it's, from that aspect, it's been a huge boon to the trail towns and the trail town users, because we can offer coordinated events and we have a place to coordinate instead of everybody running off in different directions going, hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me? It's really focused on that. And Ned is one of our members, so he can tell you if he finds it beneficial.
You pretty much covered everything. You left me with nothing to say, but no, I have to agree. The cohesiveness of having that group with the other businesses down here in New Freedom and Railroad kind of makes it much easier to put together programs, especially with the train and being able to coordinate with the train and making sure, especially like when we have a parade, the train's not running when we're trying to cross the tracks, because that could be a mess. And we know this year being the sesquicentennial, there's going to be a lot of different events going on, and being able for all the businesses to benefit from that, to work together. And so everybody, everybody can win, pretty much just win off of having one big event at the same time.
I was waiting for that reference to come up there with the sesquicentennial, Ned, and it did. I won my bingo card today. Next for Ned and Amanda, actually, could you give some examples of those events that are helping to draw in visitors to the community? I know one thing we really wanted to focus on is pulling in people who stop. For everyone's reference, there's a trail that's in Maryland that connects to the Heritage Rail Trail, and two different trails, if you're not really familiar, operated in two different ways. So that's one thing we wanted to do, is really try to encourage people to make that leap after they get to the Maryland, Pennsylvania border, to actually come into York County as well. But additionally, I guess if you just want to speak to how you're helping to draw visitors into the community through events and group promotions.
For us, the connection with the Torrey C. Brown Trail is really important. We have a lot of people who start down in Maryland and bike halfway, spend the night with us, and then continue on to York, or vice versa. We have a lot of people that come and stay with us, and one day they go south and one day they go north. So the more opportunities for attractions, businesses along the trail, to draw those people, having something to do when they get to New Freedom, having something to do when they go to Glen Rock, when they go up to York. We've had a lot of our guests say, how do I, how far does the trail go? Can I go any further? When are you going to connect? So they're really, a lot of the users we see are really looking for the long ride. A lot of them come for short rides as well. A lot of them mix. I have some couples that come, and one's like, I'm doing the whole 40 miles in one day, and the other one's like, I'm going 5 miles and I'm coming back to the hot tub. So, having those connections and the offerings and amenities is important.
Yeah, for us, having the trail, again, like I can't say it's enough. It's very beneficial because, a lot of people ride the trail that are into fitness, and they probably wouldn't come to our gym. Most of the other gyms that are in the area aren't close to the trail, so they're either just riding the trail and they're not utilized under the business. So for us, we're finding different ways and being creative on how to take advantage and capitalize on having these visitors, or even members or people of different communities come through and be able to use our business. Yeah.
And then David, the second half of your question, sorry, was events and promotions that draw people. Northern Central Railway is a huge player in that they have Cowboy Weekend. Their 10th anniversary is in June. We just started what's hoping to be the annual chili dog run in March. We've got New Freedom is hosting a Kansas City barbecue cook-off in July. So all of these events, Glen Rock has the annual Brew Fest going on. There's another event going on in Glen Rock coming up soon. They've got a farmer's market there. So all of these things to draw people to the area. For the first year, the 5K had over 200 people. Festive Ice has been a major event for us in the winter, bringing people down to what's normally our off season, with over 1,000 people there. So all of these different events and what we've talked about with York County Economic Alliance and the Trail Towns program is, how do we offer an event every month, but especially from that November to that May time period, where we can get people in that off season to get out and use the trail and see what's available in these towns.
Jessica, going to you, could you share about some collaborations you've been working on? I know you mentioned York Academy. Would you be willing to share more details about how you've been working with some partners to support trail users?
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, that York Academy student approached us actually on his own, but I think was partly, inspired by what we were doing here. And we obviously, given who we are, love partnering with youth who have great ideas for how to improve the community. But we're also talking to, the master watershed stewards about storm drain art program that would potentially have a site, close to our facility. We've been working with WellSpan as a potential sponsor for a youth, a family-focused cycling event that would leverage the trail right outside of our door, with the thinking that we can help to develop the next generation of trail users by introducing, bike safety and the pleasures of outdoor recreation to kids and young families. We host a Girls on the Run camp here every summer, which for obvious reasons loves being here because of proximity to the trail, sort of similar to Ned's point about a lot of his gym members enjoying the trail. We're talking to the water company about potentially putting a watering station here. We've been partnering with Fresh Food Farms and the Master Gardeners and Chesapeake Bay Foundation and Audubon about doing a community garden here on site, which again would be right along the rail trail and help to both beautify the trail, but also contribute to the ecosystem that exists along the trail. So truthfully, we would partner and talk to just about anyone who has ideas about how to improve both this corner of downtown and create more trail facing amenities along the trail, particularly within the city and downtown where we feel there isn't as much the public facing business right along the trail.
So the last two questions here are both challenges and successes. So we'll start off with challenges. Could you all speak to some challenges you've had regarding engaging trail users?
So for
I
me,
think, go ahead, Ned.
I'm sorry. For us, I would say that a challenge that we have for engaging the trail users would be signage. The borough is the size of the sign that we're allowed won't really be able to see it from the trail. So that's something that we're working on. Hopefully we can get that changed or we get better signage. So people that are using the trail that don't know that we're here are able to see us.
I think for the towns, especially railroad, as we're outside working, everybody stops and says, "Where are we?" So having, where are we? What's railroad? What is there to do? So the signage initiative that you guys have the RFP out for right now will help immensely. The other challenge we have are not necessarily bicyclists, but some of the walkers and the dog walkers, making sure that they take bags with them, have a place for them to throw things away. And then for the bicyclists and runners, really, crosswalks. The car traffic in the towns down here has picked up 4 times what it was 3 years ago. And people aren't stopping. Even though things are signing, you've got flashing lights, you've got everything. The vehicle traffic, I think, is one of the challenges we still have for the trail.
I think our challenge is similar to what Amanda was describing. It's just worrying about safety right here with so many different types of travelers. We're right on George Street here, right by the bridge. We have a school right across the street. The trail's not quite complete here. So worrying about how pedestrians and cyclists and motorists all sort of interact right at this intersection is a cause of concern today. But as I mentioned earlier, PennDOT has an ambitious plan for how they're going to improve safety here on this corner. We're really hopeful that that will be transformative for that corner, and we can be less concerned about that. And then hopefully we'll also start seeing folks, as I mentioned earlier, traveling the full trail and not just stopping here and turning around, but actually making their way down to the southern part of the county.
So transitioning away from the challenges, could we speak to some successes then that the three of you have had in engaging trail users?
For us, success, I would say, would be the influx of the further reach for members that we will have. Like I've had members from Lancaster, personal training members. I have members from Parkton, Westminster that come here. One for the trail and two because they're looking for a personal trainer, so they're getting a dual use out of coming down here. So for us, I would say we're getting a farther reach, because Lancaster is about like 45-minute ride, to come down here. So if they're coming down here for the trail and personal training and their nutrition, then for them it's it's a good travel. It's a win.
For us, it's the increase in businesses. 4 years ago when we bought the Jackson house, there were very few places open, mainly restaurants, a bicycle shop, but they didn't offer a lot. So now we have the breweries here, we have Ned and the fitness center, the bicycle shop starting this month. We're really excited, is offering bicycle rentals, something that was really, really lacking on the trail. So the Trail Towns program and all of the new businesses coming in, we're seeing repeat customers because there are more things to do. They come back, they see the trail and they're like, oh, do you have bicycles to rent? Oh, we need to come back with our bicycles. And so they're starting to come back because of the trail and because of all of the things that are available on the trail now. So that's a huge success for us.
We have new people discover us all the time just because they happen to be, cycling or running by. I can't tell you how often it happens, almost every day, that someone just wanders in, is like, what is this place? Because we're cycling by and just we're curious about it. And so for us, it's a really great helps us with our visibility as an organization and as a business. It has also really helped to bring more just people on the ground here to make this corner of the city and the downtown feel safer. You need more people around, more visible people, more activity. So that has been really helpful, and I know helps families feel like this is a place where they really want to be and spend time. And I think in general helps to contribute to the city and downtown being a place where people can imagine coming as a family and spending a lot of time, not just with us, but at Market and all the other businesses downtown. It just really helps to round out people's perceptions of what we can be as a community. And we're really thrilled to be a part of that.
All right, thank you all. We have a lot of Q&A questions that have been submitted. So I'm just gonna get to those next. But before I want to speak on Amanda's point too about some RFP that we have out on signage. It's really to improve signage along the Heritage Rail Trail. The short version of all of that is think of on the interstate when you're exiting off of the interstate, that there's going to be a general information about a bathroom coming up next, a lodging opportunity, or a restaurant you can eat at. That's what we're kind of trying to do on the Heritage Rail Trail, and then also improve the trailheads themselves too with some signage opportunities too. So when you're in New Freedom, that there's a fitness center that you can probably get to, have a QR code there that has the list of details, but gives you a general idea of some businesses on the mapping itself. QR code will share the specifics of those businesses, their hours, and what they actually do. And likewise, when you're on Railroad, likewise, when you're in the city of York, Seven Valleys, and Glen Rock too. So just wanted to speak to that a little bit. Before I transition into the Q&A, I'll give Ned, Jessica, and Amanda one chance to speak to all the businesses that are watching who are thinking about being a trail-friendly business. What would you say to them who are thinking about it or have ideas to open up a business that encompasses the trail? What should they consider?
Good question.
It is a good question. I would definitely consider, like I was saying before, the webinars and going to the meetings, because there's a lot of information out there that's valuable, that will help you through, the journey of starting up a business, or even if you are a business that's existing and you're looking to expand or grow, there are, ways that you can, get help through the grants that you guys offer. So definitely, I would take advantage of it.
I would say if you're an existing business and you don't necessarily think of yourself as primarily focused on serving trail users, I would challenge you to think about ways that you could just tweak your orientation or your signage or a little bit how you do business to be more welcoming of trail users. We have found it's really not that difficult. You just have to be intentional about it. And the YCEA, as I mentioned, has so many resources to make that easier. You just have to decide that it's a priority. But we found it didn't require, tens of thousands of dollars or a whole new business plan or hiring 3 new staff people or anything like that. It really was, relatively small tweaks, but that were meaningful to trail users that allowed us to be an amenity that they found of value and to help, again, attract more traffic along the trail. And then for anyone who's located within the city of York, I really do think we need more public facing amenities close to the trail, whether you're right along the trail or just off. I really do encourage, city businesses to think of trail users as potential customers. Even though we're not maybe used to seeing lots of people traveling the trail, I can tell you firsthand, there are people using this trail every day right outside of our door. And I think we all believe that those numbers are only going to grow from here. So there's huge opportunity there. Let's make the city of York just as exciting of a stop along the trail as New Freedom and Railroad and some of these other communities.
Yeah, the program is amazing. The resources it brings, there's grant money available, but just the contacts, the networking, everything, the insights to York County Economic Alliance and their support. There's so many interconnected programs that you can take advantage of that really help. And being a Trail Town user and a Trail Town friendly business is just one of the little ways that you can help and they can help you.
All right, so first question from the Q&A, and it's going to be, what are some creative social media strategies to attract trail users? If you don't follow Ned on social media, I think you should, mostly because he will get you laughing, but also entice you about some things that are going on locally. So Ned, I'll pitch it to you first, since I know you're the hobbyist there when it comes to social media, and then I know Jessica and Amanda do their own well.
As far as the social media goes, it's to post on Facebook and Instagram, it's free, so take advantage of that. Know your audience, keep your posts relevant to what your business is and what's going on around you, and also you want to engage with your members or your followers on your social media. That's just stay relevant, post often. Let the members know that your followers know what's going on with your business. People like to put a face to a place. You want to be more personable. You just don't want to be a brick and mortar. You just don't want to be that building. You want to make sure that people can relate to you, not only you and your business and what you're doing and the message that you're putting out there.
I would add, there a lot of partners in town are very open and generous to having you tag them when you're posting, so that you can grow your audience. I know YCA and Downtown Inc. are really great about that. I'm sure there are other organizations in other parts of the county and other towns that would welcome that sort of cross promotion, but that can be a really powerful way of reaching a wider audience than maybe folks who are only following your organization, and try to be as generous with other folks, let them tag you, share their great stuff. But the more we can all sort of help and support each other, the more it genuinely feels like there's a lot going on to make these communities really attractive to these visitors and these users.
I was going to say what Jessica said, the networking group we have down here, anything that anybody talks about gets shared with the whole group. They put it on their social media. So it's not just me trying to do it all myself. If I have an event, the train advertises it. New Freedom Roasting Company and Deli advertises it. Ned, we all share, and that's part of really being a group that works together. Some of the other creative social media strategies, some of the businesses have come in and done videos of other businesses to say, hey, this is my business, but this is how I partner with so-and-so. Anything you can think of these days. They have passports now. I think when we did Festivice, they did the passport where you could snap a picture of the business and win a prize at the end. There's lots of things out there that are easy. They're not expensive, and they really draw the crowd.
So this next question, I think we touched on it here and there. It asks about, is there a way to unite the trail-friendly businesses around same concepts? For example, they mentioned scavenger hunts for trail-friendly business stops, or similar kind of takeaways to ultimately aid in promoting York County and its trail towns to others, to both riders, visitors, and businesses that might not otherwise actively search for that. I think we spoke about it a good bit. If any of you want to talk about that at all.
So Festivice, they did the QR codes and the scans where you stood in front of the business, took your picture, uploaded it. Explore York, and I know the train has been partnering with us and Explore York to bring different trails. So there's a Civil War trail where it's all on their site. You go and people visit the different sites. There's a Women in History trail coming. There are two other trails coming as well, where they're focused on a target group, each one very unique, but it's a reach outside of us. And they can go on to the website. It gives them places to go. Geocaching. I've seen people come by and I found little painted rocks in my garden. And I'm like, and people wandering up the backyard, and I'm like, and they're like there with their phones going, there's something here, I know. So lots of things going on with the businesses. Have It Made Here is another program kicking off, where it's focused on the businesses in the area that produce an experience, a product, offer some kind of event. There are lots of things going on.
Yeah, in our small business group meetings, we do talk a lot about how can we cross promote with the other businesses in town. Whether I'm running a special, how can we add in scissors or the train, or the bed and breakfast. So there's constant talk on all the small businesses collaborating. So we all can benefit off of that.
For anyone who's trying to attract, a family-focused audience, gamification is always very effective, right? So the idea that sort of what Amanda was saying about geocaching and things like that, I need to collect them all. I need all my stamps. I need, we do scavenger hunts here all the time. People go crazy for them. So adding that element of gamification or challenge or something like that can really compel people to want to, keep going and visit more spaces.
So yeah, I hope that answers the question that A, there's ideas already in the works, but B, I think there's opportunity for more partnerships too, for all of that, to encourage more collaboration between all the businesses. The last question I'll bring here, because we're shorter on time now, is for all the speakers, we're hearing that the decision to locate along the trail and in these communities and take part of the trail-friendly actions is about much more than their bottom line. They're hearing a strong commitment to local quality of life. Would you be able to speak to how trail towns, your businesses, impact quality of life here in York County?
It's amazing, the friendships that you make with the other businesses, the collaboration. It really gives a family feel to the town. That's one of the things that I've noticed a lot of the new businesses in, wow, I can't believe how everybody works together. Wow, it's like a family. You have your internal spats every now and then, just like siblings do, but it's really family focused and helping each other. And that's something I think coming from a big city, Seattle or New York or somewhere, you kind of lose those connections to family and friends, and then being down in tiny towns, everybody knows everybody and everybody knows about everybody. When we first started, I had people stop on the trail and I'm like, hi, and they'd be like, oh, you're you're so-and-so, you're from here, and I'm like, do I know you? They knew all of us. So, that it took a while to adjust, but that's one of the really, really nice things about being in a trail town, and being part of that group.
For us, I've always worked in other gyms, big commercial gyms. And one of the things, or one of the struggles I've had was, trying to do events. And for, a big box gym, for us to do an event in the community, it's not something that's, I want to say, accepted or wanted, because to them, it's, if the people aren't going to come into their business and buy something, then it's not translating to dollars for them, right? So for me, when I decided to go and start my own business with ISA, the one thing that we discussed that we agreed on was that we want to do more things in community. And, being a small business, being our own bosses, we're able to create a program like we could do virtually anything, because we have the ability to affect so many people, right? And to own a small business, we're not just limited on people that walk in our door. We're in a community, so we're here to make the community better and work together with the other businesses. And we have to learn from what happened during COVID. When COVID happened, everything shut down. Having these small group meetings and having, you guys here to help us along the way is great, because we're able to work together. If something happens again, then we're able to figure out and make it through another tough time.
I love this question. I think this is a really important point, at least from our standpoint. When you think about mission, serving trail users is not like top of the list for us. Obviously, we exist to serve, kids and families. Most of our visitors probably will never come through the trail. So it's not a bottom line decision for us. It really is about trying to contribute in every way possible to making York and our part of York County like a really exceptional place to live, work, and play. And I know we all feel that same commitment about the county and the communities in which our businesses are located. As I mentioned earlier, it really wasn't a big lift for us to do a little bit more, to be more, contributing more to that as part of the Trail Town initiative. And we are hopeful that as time moves on, that we will see more sort of financial returns and more visitors coming that way. But that wasn't the driver for us originally. It really was a commitment to doing all we can do to make our communities, thrive in every way possible. But don't think that you just have to do it out of the goodness of your heart, right? If you're a business owner, there really are real profit reasons to try to do it as well. In our case, it just wasn't quite as important as some other things that we were doing. But I think testimony you're hearing from the other two panelists shows that you really can drive a lot of business for participation in these programs as well.
And John's on, so he's going to wrap us up. Thank you to the panelists, and thank you to all of our attendees.
Yes, thank you, David, for moderating. Thank you, Ned. Thank you, Jessica, and thank you, Amanda. I know it's a great discussion today, and I know there was a few questions that were left unanswered in the Q&A. So all attendees will be receiving an email from me in the next few days that'll have contact information for our attendees. And certainly I'll include David's contact as well. If you have additional questions about trail towns, I know there's a few questions in the chat about the application process for being a trail-friendly designated business. So be sure to give that information as well. Before I draw this to a close, I want to draw attention to a few key announcements. Our 23rd annual Go Green in the City event is coming up on April 22nd. This fun, family-friendly festival, that's a lot of Fs, celebrates green, healthy, and local living. and will feature more than 60 vendors, live music, food, children's activities, and much more. And certainly if you're a business in downtown York, start thinking about ways that you can partner with that event, maybe offer some kind of eco-friendly business promotion on that day. Downtown Inc. is pleased to announce that with the recent expansion of the York City Police Department, 4 officers will now be designated solely to downtown York. To reach those officers directly, you can email them at downtownofficers@yorkcity.org, and this is in the chat as well, or by phone at 717-916-1619. And it's not too early to start thinking about April First Friday plans for your business. Promotional information is due the Friday before, so that would be March 31st. And in the chat there'll be the link, the submission form for content, and that means that your First Friday event or happening, sale, whatever it ends up being, will be included in our press release, our website, our social media content. So we'll get the word out about what you're doing for First Friday. And last but certainly not least, the Yorktown Hotel has been open for a few weeks, and they are reporting record high visitors. Every single weekend, they're reporting between 350 to 500 guests passing through the hotel. And as many of you know, the hotel does not currently have a retailer or a restaurant, which means that those visitors are looking to experience all the great things happening in downtown York. So we've launched our Districts app, which is promoted heavily throughout the Yorktown Hotel to showcase all the wonderful things happening in downtown York, places that you can visit. So if you are not on the Districts app, I would encourage you to do so. You can certainly reach out to me and I can connect you with that. We also have Districts app window clings with a QR code that many merchants in downtown York already have. But if you'd like to receive a copy of that, you can reach out to us and let us know, and we will get you that, that window cling. So that was a lot of great information today. Thank you all for joining us. And I hope you can join us for next month's Bloom Business Series workshop on Wednesday, April 19th at 8:30 a.m. again. And we'll be learning about digital and social media marketing strategies. And that registration link is dropped in the chat below. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you.